Hey, we're going to keep going, and we're going to try to finish 6.4. Let me bring up the calculator. Okay, 6.4 gives some people some issues, so go ahead and try to do the ones where you find the z-score, because what you're doing basically is 6.2 but backwards. And then these problems I'm looking at are kind of 6.3 backwards. So let's look and see what's going on. Suppose ACT reading scores are normally distributed with a mean of 21 and a standard deviation of 6.2. A university plans to admit students whose scores are in the top 30%. What is the minimum score required for admission? Round your answer to the nearest tenth. All right, so let's look at this. We know the mean is 21, and we know the standard deviation is 6.2. We need to know the top score for the cutoff for the top 30%. So another way to say the top 30% is that you are above 70%. So a way to do that is to think, okay, if I have the area of 70% of the people below me, then I can find that value right there. So what you're going to do is you're going to go second distribution and go down to 3. And you're going to put in 0.70. Remember, any area under the curve is a decimal that is less than 1. So don't put 70 in. You're going to get a really weird answer. Then you're going to put your mean of 21, comma, and then your standard deviation of 6.2. Close the parentheses, and then I get 24.25. So I would round it to be 24.3. So for an ACT score, it means that if you're in the top 30%, your score is 24.3 or higher, right? So practice with those because these are tricky. And let's look at one more, okay? So a humanities professor, sorry about that again. A humanities professor assigns letter grades on a test according to the following scheme. Only the top 10% get A's. Scores between the top 10 and bottom 50% get B's. Scores below the top 44 and the bottom 24 get C's. Scores below the top 76 and above the bottom 6% get D's, and the bottom 6% of the scores get F's. Okay, kind of a really weird grading scale. Let's go with it. Scores on the test are normally distributed with a mean of 76.6 and a standard deviation of 9.1. Find the minimum score required for an A. Round your answer to the nearest whole number if necessary. All right, so if I want stuff for the top 10%, that's saying that 90% of the people are below me for my score on that test. So this again is an inverse norm function. So I'm going to put it in, go down to inverse norm, and I'm going to put 90. I'm not going to do 0.10 because that is for the lowest 10%. And again, I want the top 10%. So that top 10% is 0.90. Okay? Then I'm going to put a comma, and then I'm going to put my mean of 76.6, comma, and then I'm going to do 9.1. Close the parentheses, and then I get 88. So the minimum score for an A grade on the test is 88. Okay? Practice with these. I know 6.4 can be tricky, but once it makes sense, it'll be pretty easy. Thanks.